All right, today, you and I are becoming DNA detectives. Our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to crack the code of life itself. We're going to dive into how scientists take two genetic sequences, those long strings of A's, C's, G's, and T's, and compare them to uncover their hidden relationships. It's all about unlocking the secrets they hold.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll lay out the big problem we're trying to solve. Then we'll look at the two main strategies for tackling it. After that, we'll meet our two star players, a couple of algorithms called Needleman-Wunsch and Smith-Waterman. And finally, we'll connect all these dots and see how this code cracking leads to some truly amazing real-world cures.
Okay, let's dive right in with the big one, the DNA comparison problem. Every living thing has this genetic blueprint, right? Well, here's the thing. Thanks to modern science, we are just drowning in this data. We have entire genomes from thousands and thousands of species. So the real challenge, the fundamental problem, is how in the world do you even begin to compare one massive sequence to another to make any sense of it all?
And that really boils down to this one question. It seems so simple on the surface, but the answers can tell us some really profound stuff. I'm talking about things like finding the one single genetic typo that causes a disease like sickle cell anemia, or how we know for a fact that the human genome is 98.8% identical to a chimpanzee's. So how do you do it? How do you systematically compare two sequences that can be millions or, even billions of letters long?
The easiest way to think about this is with a simple analogy. Just picture you've got two versions of a document, maybe an essay you're writing. You need a way to find every single change, right? Every typo, every sentence you added, every part you deleted. Well, that is exactly what biologists are doing with DNA, and that whole process, it has a name: sequence alignment.
Okay, so to solve this huge puzzle, our DNA detectives have two main strategies they can use. Just think of them as two different ways of looking at the evidence. We call them global alignment and local alignment. And believe me, each one is built for a totally different kind of investigation.
And when you look at them side by side, the difference really pops. Global alignment, on the left here, is kind of like a proofreader who's comparing two entire books, from the first page to the last. The assumption is that they're telling pretty much the same story. But local alignment, that's totally different. That's more like a researcher who's just looking for one specific, super important paragraph that's identical in both books, and they don't care about the rest.
So, the big question is, how do you actually do a global alignment? Well, for that, we need to pull out our first big tool. It's called the Needleman-Wunsch algorithm. This thing was developed way back in 1970, and it's really the OG, the foundational method for getting that complete, end-to-end story. The way it works is actually like a really clever scoring game. Here's the basic idea. You get points for a match. Why? Because if the letters are the same, it suggests they share some history, right? But you lose points for a mismatch or a gap, because those represent changes, like mutations, that happened over time. So the algorithm builds this grid, it scores every single possible move, and then it traces back the one path that gives you the highest possible score. That winning path, that's your best alignment.
So, here's the bottom line for Needleman-Wunsch. If you need to compare two sequences that you're pretty sure are related from start to finish, like say the same gene from a human and a chimp, this is your go-to tool. It's built to tell the whole story, from beginning to end.
But what if you're not looking for the whole story? What if your job is more like a treasure hunt? You're trying to find one small but super important matching section, like a single shared gene that's buried inside two otherwise really different sequences. Well, for that job, you need a different tool. And that tool is the Smith-Waterman algorithm.
Now, this algorithm came along about a decade later, and it is just so elegant. It's built on the very same idea as Needleman-Wunsch, that same scoring game. But the guys who created it, Smith and Waterman, they changed just one tiny rule. And that one little change, it completely revolutionized the entire field.
And here's the twist. It's brilliant. In the original game, right, if you had a long stretch of mismatches, your score would just tank, going deep into the negatives. But with Smith-Waterman, if a score ever tries to go below 0, you just set it to 0. That's it. It's genius, because it means the algorithm can just give up on a bad patch of mismatches and start a brand new, fresh alignment from literally anywhere.
This table here shows you exactly what I mean. So imagine you're trying to line up a G with an A. See that? In the old system, you'd get a score of, say, -2, and you're stuck with that penalty. But with Smith-Waterman, nope. Any score that would be negative just gets reset to 0. It's a clean slate. And that's what lets a brand new, high-scoring path, a hot trail of similarity, kick off from anywhere, even in the middle of nowhere.
So, to wrap this part up, Smith-Waterman is the absolute master of local alignment. It's the perfect tool for finding that one hidden gem, that critical gene, that shared piece of a protein that's buried in two sequences. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate needle-in-a-haystack finder. Okay, so we've got these two really elegant ways to play a scoring game with DNA. But, so what? Why does any of this matter to you and me? Well, this is where it all comes together. This is where we go from abstract code to actual life-saving cures, and trust me, this part is incredibly cool. Look, these algorithms are, and I'm not exaggerating, the absolute foundation of modern biology. I mean, this is how scientists can trace our evolutionary family tree, by comparing human and Neanderthal DNA. It's how doctors can scan a patient's genome to find the one tiny mutation causing a disease like cystic fibrosis. It's how we find entire families of related proteins, which is the key to designing brand new targeted medicines. We're talking about cutting-edge cancer therapies here. This stuff is absolutely fundamental to the medicine we rely on today. So just stop and think about that for a second. These two brilliant, but really simple ideas from the 70s and 80s are still the engine behind the biggest breakthroughs we're making in medicine and in understanding life itself. It just makes you wonder, right? As our technology gets faster and cheaper and we can read more and more DNA, what incredible secrets about our health, our past, and our future is the next great algorithm going to reveal?